Alright, what is good? What is happening, everybody? It's your boy Primitive AK here, back with another video for you guys. Today we're going to be covering the rangefinder and also zeroing for snipers and how it works, how you can master this feature in the game for any newcomers to the Battlefield franchise, and how to best optimize for the best possible sniping experience in Battlefield 6. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys showing the love and support as always. So I wanted to cover this topic because I noticed quite a few people have been asking about it, and I figured it'd be a pretty interesting topic to cover. And that is about zeroing your sniper and also using features such as the rangefinder. Now, for those that are not aware, snipers can be used on any class, but we're going to be focusing primarily on the recon class since the recon is proficient in sniper rifles. That means that a specific class is usually better suited for that specific weapon. So in this case, we're going to be using the M2010. Since I haven't really sniped that much on this game, I'm going to be totally honest with you. As a well-versed Battlefield player, I kind of have a great understanding of how these features work, as they have worked pretty much the same since every single Battlefield has, been out in the most recent years, and some of the older ones as well. So, obviously, you are going to need a sniper to make this work, and I'm going to be using the M2010 ESR. Now, in the class itself, there is what's known as a rangefinder. We're going to actually put this on the weapon. You do unlock this by default, so your weapon doesn't have to be leveled up at all. It is available right out of the gate. And we'll talk a little bit about what this does, but for now we're just going to put it on. We're going to go over to the firing range. Now you can see it has this massive block on the side of your weapon. It's actually kind of annoying if I'm being totally honest. Now what this is going to do is this is essentially going to let you know just about how far your enemies are, depending on where you're aiming your weapon. So essentially what this does, we'll talk a little bit about zeroing first. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually take this off first before we go ahead and get into that. All right, we're going to take this off first, and we're going to show the zeroing first. We'll go with firing range. All right, so if you look on the bottom right-hand area where it shows your ammo count, you will see there is what's known as a zeroing effect. And what this does, this essentially lets you zero out and adjust your bullet drop on the weapon. So you can see right now I have it set to 100. What this means is that if an enemy is about 100 meters out, like right there, for example, that's about 75 meters. So it's a little bit close, a little bit harder to show this because there's no 100-meter target here. But this is about 75 meters out. This means that the bullet and the weapon will automatically adjust to land you a headshot if you are aiming at a target that is exactly 100 meters out. So what it'll do is the bullet will actually arc a little bit. Depending on the distance, it'll arc, and because you're aiming at the head, it's going to arc and land directly on that headshot, on that exact distance. So right now I have this set to 100, so if I aim at the head, it's going to be a very easy headshot. Now, let's say the target is 200 meters out. You're going to set the 0 to 200. So that way, the bullet will now arc, depending on where you are, 200 meters out, and it's going to land on the headshot. Now, obviously, the bullet's traveling very fast, so it's very hard to see this. You really only notice this arc when you're pushing meters like 800 to 1,000, for example. That's where you'll start to see that bullet arc a little bit, and there are actually really great examples of this in other games like Battlefield 4. So you can notice, let's say I'm going to aim at, this is still at the head, but you notice how it actually missed. That's because the bullet is arching over the target because it thinks that the target is 200 meters out, even though this target is actually, I believe this is about 75 meters or 70 meters out. So you notice, I'm going to aim at the head again. Oh, I got to reload. I'm going to aim right about there. You see how it missed? So it's going to do the same thing. We're going to arch it even more. 300 meters, right? I'm going to aim a little bit lower. In theory, this should miss. You see how it missed? There you go. That's because the target is supposed to be further out. We're going to put it at 400. We're going to aim a little bit lower. Rechamber that. There you go. You see how it missed, despite me being directly on his head? Yes, so if you notice your shot's not hitting and you're pretty much aiming directly at the head, just be sure to check your zero because it's probably not set correctly. We're going to set it to 500 meters. We're going to aim a little bit lower. Aim right about there. And there you go. I completely missed it, because the 0 is set much higher. So now we're just going to make sure we reset this back to 100. And you can see the headshots are all hitting pretty much now. Now let's talk about the rangefinder. Alright, the rangefinder, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to tell you exactly where the target is located, how far out they are. That way you can adjust it to that specific 0. So we're going to throw this bad boy on. Talking about the rangefinder, now we're going to showcase exactly how this thing works, because it's a little bit different from the previous Battlefield games. So if you guys notice, I'm going to set my 0 down to 100, since that's the default. Oh, I just scrolled right past it. So yeah, right now I'm going to have it set to default 100. Now let me tell you what this does. This is literally going to set your rangefinder to the exact distance of what your target is. Now, in the previous Battlefield games, it would usually have a number on the left side of the scope, like how I'm scoped in right now. There would be a number there, and then you would have to adjust your 0 to whatever the number is on that screen. Now, in Battlefield 6, they actually changed this, and they actually made it easier. So I'm going to aim at this target, right? And you can see my 0 is set down to 100 meters. That's about what I estimate this target is at. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to press and hold the down directional pad on your PlayStation controller or Xbox controller and watch the number change. You see how it's 107 now? Boom, headshot. Right? I'm going to aim at this target. This target's a little bit closer. I'm going to hold down the directional pad again. And it says it's 113. That doesn't entirely look accurate. But we're going to shoot it anyway. That one worked. Alright, we're going to press the 0 button again. It's adjusting to 112, so that ideally should be a headshot. Boom, headshot. We're going to reset it again. So you can see it pretty much auto-adjusts depending on, you know, what it thinks you're going to need versus what you actually need. That's the purpose of the rangefinder here. So that's why I said, anytime you're aiming at a target, if you're aiming at a wall, for example, it's going to auto-adjust to that. Like that, for example, is 114 out. We're going to adjust to this one. And you see this one resets it back to the lowest value, which is 100. So it looks like you can't adjust it to targets that are under 100 meters. So for example, that's only 10 meters. But when I aim at it and I press and hold, it keeps it at 100. So I aim at this target, I'm going to press and hold it, puts it at 104. I set it back here, sets it back to 100. Same for this one as well, 100 meters. And further out over there is 111. So yeah, that's pretty much how the rangefinder works. It's pretty straightforward. I wasn't sure if anyone really understood how this thing worked, but this can be very useful, especially if you're hitting targets that are a lot further out. If you're playing smaller maps or smaller game modes like Breakthrough, for example, I don't recommend using the rangefinder, only because you really don't need it. You'll only need to set your 0 to 100, which is pretty much exactly what you would need it at, you know, targets that are maybe this far out, or maybe targets that are this far out. There's just no need to have it, so that's why I recommend, if you are using the rangefinder, make sure you're playing a big map, because there is literally no reason to use the rangefinder on smaller game modes or smaller maps where targets really aren't going to be that much of a distance. I would only use it for targets that are like 150 out or more, because then you'll probably need to adjust a little bit. And like even if it's like 120, you can just aim like right there, and that will usually be a headshot in most cases, if for a target that's like 130 out. But otherwise, I hope this was a good explanation for you guys on how the rangefinder works, how you should use it, and how to zero on the weapon as well. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for all the love and support. We'll be having more videos out explaining all the nicks and crannies of Battlefield 6. Appreciate you guys showing love and support. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's your boy Primitive AK, signing out. Peace out, fellas.